we've got a database, and the database is 3D. It's showing contours. I don't know if you remember, but last week I changed it to what looks like every 0.2 of a metre contours, so you get a pretty good idea of what things are going. We're gonna do a road starting at the top, and we're going to come down here onto the flatter piece. Obviously there's some sort of a cliff here on either side, so we'll come down here. There'll be a bit of a steep bit there and end up down the bottom somewhere. Now, when you're doing your roads, there's a few things you've got to be a bit careful of. We're going to come across later on. So you've got to try and keep the main horizontal alignment within the boundaries that we set last week. Plus, you kind of got to think a little bit laterally. So with the road, it's not just a centre line, it's a pavement, and then there's a bit of a gutter on one side, and maybe the other side there might be a bit of a footpath. There might be a bit of a grass verge, and then what we call daylighting, which is where your cut and fill batters might go down or up to merge with the existing ground. So that whole width of your road might mean that if we start, say, here, you're going to go outside of the boundary with the width of the road. And of course, CivilCAD, like the biggest thing on CivilCAD is, we can't do that. So you'll see a triangle here, another triangle there, which are warning triangles saying, you've broken the rules, right? Now, there are ways to fix that. So we can drag the start point down a bit and drag everything back into the boundary. I guess you could also drag the boundary back a little bit as well. And the same with the end point. The second thing we're going to come across is if the width of the roads end up going out the sides of the boundaries. So if you come down here and you do a curve which is too flat, it might go outside of the boundary once we've set the road. Now, you're not going to know that until I give you the parameters of the road. Like, for example, how far is that? At the moment, you've got no idea. So you're not going to know that. You're not going to know sort of where things are going to clash, where it's going to hit the actual ground level, or is it going to go outside of the parameters. So when you get your assignment, there'll be a few things you have to jiggle around. So I'm going to show you some ways of getting around some of those things. So when we go back to visit the assignment, well, I say we, a royal we, you're on your own at that point. You'll have to perhaps jiggle some of that. Now, just because you're all in your comfort zone at the moment, I'm going to throw some trees, a pond, a path, and a few other things into the assignment. You'll have to plot them manually on the drawing, which obviously you can't put a road through where there's a tree, okay? And you'll know from my assignments you're going to need some text and other bits and pieces later on when it comes to doing long sections and cross sections. So half of my mark is dedicated to your ability to use Civil 3D. The other half of the mark is your ability to pull it into AutoCAD and turn it into those lovely drawings you did for me last semester. Or not so lovely drawings. The other thing that can go wrong is that, and I'm going to make it go wrong, so you'll get to see it go wrong, is when we set the parameters for the road, we will choose a kilometres per hour for the corners and things. And sometimes, a lot of you haven't, this is another disadvantage in doing this instead of in your final year. With roads you have a straight, then you'll have a curve, then you'll have another straight, then you'll have another curve, then another straight, then another curve. If these curves are too small, and that's your curve section, then that will have a great big triangle beside it, because Civil CAD doesn't like the fact that you've joined two straights up with two smaller curves. You'll get to put these in manually, but normally what happens with a lot of these things, if you ever do road design, all the different preliminary designs go through councils and transit and traffic safety and every other damn thing, so that by the time you get your hands on it, a lot of the parameters have already been set. We're going to go from here to there, over there to there to there, and you'll just be basically doing what you're told and seeing if it'll work. So you'll only have a little bit of jiggling to do. But tonight, we're going to do a freehand one, and I'll show you how we can fix that, the triangles or any issues. We will also produce a little cross section, a typical cross section through the road, and we'll do that by putting the bits and pieces together. We'll start with this, then some sort of footpath. Might do a grass. I think we'll probably go straight from the footpath to the daylighting banners. I'll give you some initial dimensions, and then we might just play with them a bit and change them a bit. Of course, your assignment will have a different one altogether. We're going to do a long section, like I said, and we're going to then draw on our long section. We're going to do what we think is an ideal road that has very little cut and fill. Next week, we'll look at that and we'll say, hey, it's too much cut or there's too much fill. We'll get an exact balance, and we'll get an opportunity to play with that and try and get it as close to zero as we can, which is what we do in the real world. It used to be very frustrating doing it manually on the drawing board, because I thought I had the perfect road. My boss would go back and say, no, that vertical curve is way too steep, do it again, sort of thing. So on the drawing board, it was, it depends what stage you're at, but the electric rubber was used quite a lot. For those who don't know what that means, it sounds like some sort of horrible toy. It's not. The rubber was on the end of what looked like a drill, and it saves you quite a bit of time. We used to do a lot of rubbing out and redrawing. So yeah, and let's talk and a little bit more demonstrating, and let's, with a bit of luck, we'll get through this. Now you'll notice on my notes there's lots of save as. All right. So you'll see that we will do a small stage. Oh, time to do a save as. And you don't have to, but go through the notes. So the notes, by the way, are on Moodle, and most of you have already figured that out already. So we're going to start with the horizontal alignment. I won't be flashing the notes up too much, so you'll have to keep up with the notes yourself. And I'll be mostly having Civil CAD on here. So there's the first warning is to not go outside the parameters of the data, or you may have to repeat your work at any particular stage. So under Home, we're going to go to Tool Space. Now when I say under Home, it means up the top here, Home, and we're going to put on Tool Space, which brings up this. Now your name will be whatever you called your last save. Okay? I'm tempted in a minute to save as practice 1, because it'll show, what have we got here on the notes? It's mostly saying practice 2. So I'm going to go save as, and I'm going to go practice 2 this week. I'm doing this because you don't have to do this, but it matches the notes, and a lot of students, if they don't see practice 2 written up here, they'll think they've done something completely wrong. So I've done that, you don't have to do that, but just don't complain to me if you haven't got practice 2 written up. So we then go to alignment and creation tools. So alignment you'll find here, and we down arrow and we go alignment creation tools, and we click on that box. And this one's a bit of a doozy. This is the one you've got to have to set everything to. First of all, let's call this proposed road 1. Always give things a name and never leave it on the default. So somebody's written site 1. We're going to go, for some reason that's not doing what I'm wanting it to do. So I'll go, I'll just call it site 1, which is for some reason what it's defaulting to. And now I'm going to call it, no, it's not letting me change it. So we'll leave it on site 1. Have you all got site 1, or have you got none? Have you typed in a name?
Yeah. On your notes you have a type in the description.
Yes. Create new. No. Pixel drawing. Oh, I've got. Have you got none written there? Yes? And can you write something in there? For some reason, I wonder if it's my. No, you can't. Okay, let's come up the top. Oh, sorry. Up the top, type in there proposed, change it to proposed road, is that right, James? Proposed road 1?
Yep.
Proposed road 1. And you can do that in the description as well if you want to. Now, we are going to go to the design criteria. Oh. Yes, the design criteria, which is your next tab here. And we're going to change that to 30 kilometres an hour. And we're going to change that to use design criteria file. And we're going to go across to this little fella here, the 3 dots, and we're going to go to Transit New Zealand Highway Manual and go open. So I'll go just through that in a minute. This should read down here, instead of ANZ maximum tangent length, you're going to use design check and change that to basic check. So you'll note that there are 3 checks going on, and that you've changed it to a slow road. You put your 2 proposed in at the top, and we're on the design criteria tab now. So I'm all ready to go okay to that. Now I just want to tell you that by doing that, it's going to check to see that your road conforms to the Transit New Zealand standards, which comes under the ANZ side of things as well.
Is it ANZ?
If it doesn't, don't worry. Mine won't, because I'm going to purposely do mine so it doesn't. But some of you may be able to draw a road that does. We will take care of that later on. Okay, so I'm going to go okay to that. And we get this box up the top. Now, wherever you're at the moment, I'd like you just to watch what I do first. So, down arrow here, and go tangent to tangent with a curve. Tangent to tangent with a curve. Come over to your drawing. I've got a few things on here I don't want on. I'm going to take some of these off. And on my drawing, I'm going to start about here. By the way, your assignment, I'll give you a start point. And I'm going to try and draw, you can see a blue line starting to appear. I'm going to click over here somewhere. Now I'm going to click over here somewhere. And I want you to do 2 curves. And I'm going to finish off down here.
How many clicks was it?
So you'll have to click once, twice, I'm not sure, but at the end I'm going to go enter. And you'll notice that it's all upside down, the text, but you'll notice it starts with a change of 0, 26, 51, 64, 87, and it ends at change 133. So what I'll do in the assignment, I'll give you a start point and an end point, and I'll tell you no more than this length. So you'll have to play a little bit with this part. Just remember you can go undo if you want to. You also notice a couple of big triangles, yay, which means I'm not conforming to the standards of the check. Now, a lot of you would not have done traffic, highway engineering, or traffic or highway engineering. And I did advise you to do that before the subject, but it's not important to the point where you won't pass. I'm just using terminology that some of you may not have come across up until now. I could confuse you even more by saying that most roads in New Zealand don't just have curves and straights, they have spiral curves between the straight and the curve. The spiral curve is a never sort of ending inward curve, yeah. So you've not just got that to deal with, but you've often got the spiral side of it to deal with. So we're on to page 3. And most of you should have been keeping up at this point pretty well.
Open up the correct file for the correct week. Where's the one which
So the next thing we're going to go to is
open up this one.
I'll just put this somewhere away from the action at the moment. And we're going to go to modify and alignment. And we're going to come across here and click on the alignment itself. And at that point, we can actually start playing with it and stretch the curves out, stretch the tangent points, etc. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying that we can adjust them if required, at any point along the way. Okay,
It's got the instructions.
so
It's got the instructions.
the next step is
Good to
to
hear.
click on the geometry where are we? It's hard because some of these screenshots are very tiny in terms of reading, so I might have to go back into my PDF at some point.
Geometry editor?
Geometry editor, have you found that?
Yeah.
So where is that hiding, my friend?
It's at the taskbar.
Click what? Geometry editor, here it is, here,
Yeah.
yep. So we're gonna click on that, and, oh, sorry, I've gotta escape out of that. So, the geometry editor is under home, is it?
Now you have to go and modify and click
Modify
alignment
again?
again. Alignment?
Alignment,
Yeah, and it,
and then geometry editor, yep, okay. And it's asking to click on that. So we clicked on the alignment. And we're now going to do a save as. So file, save as, and I'm gonna call mine practice 3. If you're feeling, shall we say, confident, then you maybe don't need to, but as you can see, I've gone through this exercise for one semester, so I'm not feeling that confident, so I'm gonna do lots of save as. All right, so up the top, to create a ground profile, that means we're going to do a long section. Get your guns ready, last year's students. Go to private, go back to home again. Go to profile, down arrow, create surface profile. And we now go, make sure the correct ground surface is chosen. In this case, Roger's ground surface 1. So this is why I said it's important to remember what you called them last week. Write them down. If you can't remember, there's probably only one option there. But if you've made a few mistakes, there could be 2 or 3 options. You want to add the right one. So propose road 1, Roger's road surface, and add. Now I'm going to click on Roger's road surface down here, and I'm going to go draw a ground profile. Draw in profile. Now we have to tab through the profiles to get the one we want. So we can come down here and tab through these ones. And that's the profile that we want with cut and fill. And now we go create profile view. Now get well away from your plan, because it's gonna, wherever you click, it's gonna start. So I'm gonna click here. Bang. How about that, guys? One click, and I've got the long section drawn up.
check that out. Check the profile.
There is one thing that I didn't do on that last step. So I'll go back to repeat it for those that weren't keeping up. They might have a good chance of keeping up this time. Alignment, create, alignment creation tools.
You're going through the steps again, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And we give it a name up the top here.
No, he's not the manual.
Actually, I can't, because if I give it another name, it's going to be difficult further on down the line. But there was a step there where we had to check. I'll just show you on the
option.
when we clicked on the ground profile. Oh no, we did everything right. I thought there was an option there for, oh, here we go. This one here. That's ×5 exaggeration. Did your one say that, or did you change it to that?
I'm not sure if we changed.
It said it already, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we've done it right, but what I missed was the step of actually changing that. If you looked at you had actually down arrow, you had a number of choices. So you know how you, for me, you did a 2× exaggeration long section?
Told you.
Well, I might ask for that again in your assignment, or I might ask for a 10× exaggeration. So that's the box you have to fiddle with to make that right. Okay. So
You downloaded the metric one. I was wondering. But I didn't even judge it. This too, there's one which is working.
now, we've only started at this stage. We haven't got any sort of a road design yet. We've got a ground profile. So what we're going to do on here is we're going to do a vertical road design with a couple of curves in it, no more than 2 or 3. And we're going to see if we can do a lovely vertical curve that follows the ground profile as best we can.
Imagine you had to do all this. Why is that? Imagine you had to do it like this. Imagine you had to do it like this. It will come up by itself. So don't be sad. I was scared you might say that. And then rename your profile. Who's gonna help me? Who's gonna send you the recordings? Huh? Who's gonna send you the recordings? Right?
So, in order to draw a profile on there, we will need to go profile and profile creation tools. Has he got the notes open? Yeah. Okay.
Just click somewhere.
So we're going to go to, see here, click on the drawing to position the long section. We've done that. Then we go to vertical alignment. Select the profile tool and come down to profile creation tool. So profile is here. And profile creation tool is here. On the surface long section, select the horizontal alignment. The create profile draw new box appears. So we've got to come over here and select the horizontal alignment with the triangles on it. Click on there. And what should have appeared didn't appear.
Select profile view.
Or is it the other one we've got to click on? think it might be this one.
Yeah.
I think it could be this one. Sorry, click on the vertical, please. So I'll just go over that again. Profile, create, surface profile.
Wasn't
Sorry,
it
not
creation
surface.
tools?
Profile, create, profile creation tools. And we click on one of these here, which will give us that profile. We then get a drop down box, proposed road. This one is on the left hand side of the notes. So when we come down here, we are now doing this left hand side here. You won't see the right hand side at the moment until we do the double dot. So the left hand side of the notes says road, proposed road 1. Description, we could call it anything we like. I might just call it proposed road 1 again. We've got to something wrong with the notes there, but is that still the ground profile? Profile creation tools. That's not profile creation tools. I'll do that again. Profile creation tools. Click on here. I think I'm right. Okay. Proposed road. Give it a name. Proposed road 1. Description, proposed road 1. ANZ. I've come to a grinding halt here, Dave. Is Dave at the back? Is he there? Yeah. Sorry to wake you up. Oh, sorry, design, we're gonna go to design criteria. Is that right for the proposed road?
At some point, yes.
Yeah.
You tick the box.
Tick the box, tick the other box. Alright, so general, design criteria. Which one of, is that okay for that one there? General?
Yeah.
Design plotting by layer, ANZ default,
Yeah, I think that's what we use.
okay, and Oz Road,
Yeah, length of press BC. There's different ones. I think that's one we use normally.
okay. So the defaults are fine, so we could go okay to that.
Yeah. That should be right. You can always back up and see what happens.
Alright,
Now you've got to do your tangents,
Now-
curves.
what comes up is this. And we're gonna go, I'll just get rid of that one, ground profile. Now we're gonna go tangent with curves.
Cool.
Thank you.
You
I
fig-
was doing it right, we're just,
Yeah, you figured that before I got there.
yeah,
Remember, I'm a freshman when you were reading the nature, you were here.
yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go, to start our alignment at exactly, I've typed in endpoint. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna click here. Stand up. So we're gonna click at this, always click at the end of where your road is gonna start. It's really important that you click in there. And then the next one, I'm gonna try and follow this ground profile. So I'm gonna click here, Now we're gonna need some sort of a curve. You can see the curves coming in now. We're gonna go to maybe there, then there. Now we're gonna curve it up with a big long straight to here. I'm trying to keep to that ground as much as possible. Up to there. Now you'll all have slightly different curves here. I'm going to come up to that point, over to there, and then I'm going to type in end, and see that bit sticking up there? I'm going to ignore that and just go to that point there and enter. And look what's happened, all this data's come up onto the screen, which I have to explain. When you do road design, you have what's called IPs, which are points where the curves connect with the, the road would have met had there not been a curve there. The curve goes like that. So in road design, you have what's called a TT and an IP. So your road goes like that, but that is what we call an IP, and that TT means a tangent, a TP means a tangent point. So tangent point, and an IP, which is kind of where a boy racer will end up if he doesn't go around the corner too fast. Okay, now that's in vertical terms. On top of that, you'll notice that there's more data there. So we have the percentage of the grade, and we also have the point at which the curves start and finish horizontally. So there's a lot of data in there that's taken on road design. So you learn all about that when you get to the higher level of road design and the degree program. And for some of you, you may carry that further. You may go on and do university or whatever and do high level papers in design. What we're doing here is just a basic course to show you some of the stuff. But I don't want that left out of your assignment. So if it prints it, if it gives you the starter, make sure you put it in there, okay? I mean, technically you should also do the straights, in my opinion. The straights are just as important as the curves. So that's my first attempt at some sort of a road that follows the curve of the land. A good road designer will end up with no cut and no fill. But it's very hard, very hard. Remember that we've only done a centre line. We haven't added this stuff yet. Okay,
Click install.
let's see what else I can stuff up. Of course, you can change points along the way. You can change your road, in which case I'll show you later, but you have to actually refresh over on the left-hand side. You'll see a rebuild option there. So whenever you play with anything in Civil 3D, you need to go back over here to this tool space, right click on it and go rebuild. Or else Civil 3D is still going, la la la, we haven't seen any of the changes you made. Once you go rebuild for a corridor or something like that, then all of a sudden it picks it up and rebuilds it again, and it knows what you've done. Whereas with AutoCAD it knows instantly, but with Civil 3D, because it's kind of like a massive database, you've got to keep telling it that's the one that I've just done. So you'll find that with your assignment, you do quite a bit of rebuilding, because I'm going to make you get your volumes down to let's see, maybe under 5 cubic metres, which will require a bit of manipulation. Some of you might actually, on your first go on the road, get it perfect. Yeah. But most of you have to do a bit of manipulating and then rebuilding, then manipulating. And if you've done, you have to keep doing rebuilding everything. So if you change that, then you have to rebuild that whole thing. You don't actually have to draw it, rebuild. You have to do the rebuild over here in the tool space. Right? So just bear that in mind. I know a lot of you forget that because it's not written in the notes, but it's all part of the deal when it comes to doing your assignment.
And then make a dash right, rebuild all.
So we've created a vertical alignment, and we're all pretty proud of ourselves for doing so. The next step now is basically to have a look at it and see if there's any issues. So I'm zooming in on it now. Because I have made you do this manually, you should all be able to look at this and go, something's wrong. Anyone see what that something is? There's no depth. The depth is what your cut and your fill. Remember we cut was negative and fill was positive, and you had to damn well work that all out on AutoCAD. Well, it's not there, is it? The cool thing is we can make it work without having to go through and do them all. So let's do that. So checking the profile data. Now zoom in on the long section and check the profile data. You notice the depth is north. To change this, select the profile view. So with the profile view, we're going to select it. Select it, and under bands, profile view, properties, hold on, profile view. Profile view properties, bands, and you get the data there, right? I'll just do that again. I forgot myself for a second, so I'll make it easier for you to remember it. Click on here again, right click, profile view properties. And this box here, profile view properties, pops up. Okay, now the thing with this is it defaults to coming up like that. So what I do is I stretch it out because we haven't got everything. So we'll stretch it out. So the problem here is that Roger's road surface 1 has come up on all of these profiles. So therefore what it's saying is the difference between Roger 1 and Roger 1 is 0. And that's why we're getting the 0 all the time. So what we should be doing is comparing it from your design road and Roger surface 1. So what we should be doing here is clicking on that and, no, clicking on that one, I think.
It's profile 1.
Is it profile 1? Or was there profile 1 there? Oh yeah, proposed road 1. Changing that to proposed road 1. So we have to do it for each one. So that now I've got the difference between the two, and go apply and OK. And we look down here, and what do you know? We've got our cuts and fills all sorted out for us. Pretty cool, eh? I think that's one of the coolest things about this. Imagine all the calculations I made you do last year. I feel good about it, but I know there's a few people loading their guns up right now.
Farhad. What do you do?
Now, one interesting thing about that is that had you not have been taught manually how to do long sections, had you entered an engineering office in Civil 3D and all you knew was how to press a button,
Extend it. No,
you
no,
would
yeah.
never have
Go to
known
profile one.
that that depth
Yeah.
wasn't
Click again.
supposed to be zero.
Now we'll make it that for all.
But the minute I zoomed in on it, most of you went, no, that depth's wrong.
Not on it.
So there we are, that's how you change that.
That's it. Then press apply.
You will have to do that on the assignment, so make sure you get quite prolific at that. And we'll move on. Okay. So the next one is called create an assembly. So for a lot of you, going to a school assembly was a long, long time ago. For some of you, it was only last year. In this case, an assembly is basically putting together the road. Now, I apologise that some of the stuff here is in American terms. Because we're in New Zealand, it should be in New Zealand terms, but the program is American, so there will be the odd American term turn up. So, as we work our way through, if you're not sure what something is and you haven't heard it, if you're an international student and they call it something completely different in your country, for example, the grass berm might be called the main motorway in some third world countries, then, you know, make sure you get the right terminology. Just like a motorbike is sometimes called a truck with 5 family members on it in certain parts of the world. Okay, I can see you're already complaint into Hugh just like that. An assembly, we're going to actually draw that up, and this is also another cool tool, that sounds good. So the first step is, of course, under Home, go to Assembly and click on Create an Assembly. So under Home, go to Assembly and click on Create Assembly. And we get this little box here, and of course, first step, name it something. Okay, assembly, assembly 1000, assembly 1000. I'm not going to forget that. We're going to come down to what looks like ANZ standard. So this is ANZ default. I'll have to look at I can't read the writing on here, so I'll have to go to that. Gosh, I should have done a save as. I'll do one in a second.
No, I just saw it.
We're up to
It's
practice
like
6, so I'll do
extended.
practice
I don't
6 in a
know
minute.
what happened.
Oh, because you did.
But what I need to do here
How many
is
clicks did you do? How many clicks in
ANZ
I did
default.
quite a few.
I'm just checking the ANZ default saves
Ah, there's a bit too much, that's why. Because if
ANZ
you
default,
keep clicking here, it's
and
gonna
I'll
keep
go
adding data points
OK.
here. I reckon just do 5 or 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4.
So,
It's not
assembly
1, 2, 3,
1,
4, 5, 6, or just 5.
Oh, whatever you want to call it, I
Not too
call
much.
mine
I'll
Like
leave the
you
phone
assembly
out, to be
one,
honest.
ANZ
Alright, I just need the
default
phone
and
out, I
OK.
just
So
need
I'll
the
do that and then I'll do a save as.
Yeah,
Try to click not too much,
Yeah.
not too little.
okay.
And try to space it out.
Yeah.
So look how much is one.
So I'm going to click here,
Yeah.
and when I clicked, I got that circle there that you can see in the middle of the page. Time to do, I think we're up to save as 6. It's my fault, I should have got you to do more save as's. I'm going to call mine 6 now, we're up to that. So that point there is this point here. So maybe I should put a green circle there or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on different things on each side.
Roger, on assembly, did you go on standard and press OK?
Yeah, it actually is default.
Oh, yeah.
What is there a standard? Was there a standard there?
There was a standard for the ANZ standard.
I think we leave it as ANZ default. Anything with ANZ in it is got a lot more than. That's why I got you to do the ANZ rather than 3D. Got a lot more to choose from.
But I couldn't end up with the circle that I was talking about.
It's got all the bits and pieces that you'd use if you're in the office.
Sweet.
So don't worry too much. Good question though. There's nothing, there's no dumb questions, only good questions. Thank you for that. Well, occasionally I come up with a dumb question, but. Okay, click on the symbol on the green, on the screen, and a ribbon opens up above. So let's click on this, see if that actually does work. Might get rid of this profile tool, proposed road one, don't need that at the moment. I'm going to click on the green, see what happens. Bang. Oh, it did. A ribbon up the top has opened up. And on that ribbon, we're going to go to what looks like assembly properties. No, it's not the one I'm after. I've actually got them over here. So it's a bit weird that you've got your properties over here, but I'm trying to bring up the ones that are on the screen there, so I'll just have another quick look at my. So what I'm trying to bring up, I've got these assembly properties here. We should have gone to tool palette. Sorry, I didn't see that on I can't. My notes are a little bit small for that, so tool palette. And there they go. That's what I wanted. Now, on my notes, it's disappeared. Thank you. Okay, where's that tool palette gone? Bring it back again. Come here, tool palette. There it is. Now, you'll see on the tool palette that you've got a lot of things down the side here. Mostly ANZ stuff. But we're going to be using the ones at the bottom. Curbs, batters, lanes, etc. Now, because this is practice, feel free to put in other things if you want to. There's a few different bits and pieces there. But what I'm going to do is pick this tool palette up by its back side here, the dots here, and I'm going to put it over here so it makes it slightly easier for me to explain things. Because otherwise it just keeps on popping up and popping back. So I dragged it over there by its bits and pieces. So the first thing I'm going to put in is lanes. And you'll notice that you have lots and lots of options. So if I was just studying one traffic design or highway design paper at Unitec, I'd probably be very familiar with multi-lanes and simple lanes. But when you start to do highway design, complicated stuff with merging lanes, blah, 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 you're gonna get into all sorts of medium strips and all sorts of bits and pieces in here. So this course, as I said, it's a quick learn of the basics. So you might want to have a play with the multi-lane. I'm just going to show you the simple lane, just so we can understand these things. So I'm going to go up the top and click on simple lane. And come down here and click on the green. And I'll click a second time on the green, and we've ended up with a simple lane left and right. Now, it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to work out that that's not a very good road design. Why? Because it's going to end up with a swimming pool in the middle. It'll look like the night of the Elton John concert, which I stupidly tried to go and watch and ended up not. The water was that far off the bottom of the car coming home, and we saw buses and cars floating down the motorway. You don't want that design. You can see the water's going to go in the middle of it, right? You probably don't want to go to an Elton John concert either. But anyway, we're going to change that, and we can do that at any point by using the properties over here, the assembly properties, and have a look down the bottom, and you'll see 2% and 3 meters. A normal a normal lane width is around 3.6, which is your 12 foot or whatever it's in the old roads. So 3.6 meters. Let's change that to 3.6. So don't have to if you don't want to, but that's what I've just showing you how to do it. And it's usually negative 3%.
I'm not on there. I don't know
Okay.
the phone.
And that didn't work. Nice one. Oops. I've just added a lane, which was really clever. Sorry. I just went backwards on that. So, yeah, I'm going to click on that, and I'll come across to the properties. I'll try again. -3 and 3.6 meters. Click somewhere else, and there we are, it's changed. Okay, so let's click on it again. Come across here to the properties. Sub-assemblies, slope varies. Slope should be -3%, and the width should be 3.6. That didn't want to change. Across again. No, it has changed. Sorry, it just took a little while for the system to catch up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a curb. Now, what's a curb called in America? A curb. Oh, that's good. Okay.
That's a joke, yo.
Or should I say
دبر
a
توخن
curve?
فرحان دبر
Curve.
توخن
Curve. It's all right. My sister's American, so I can say that. She's miles away. Can't get at me.
make 4-5 clicks at each end, make about 5.
So let's come down to whatever the PDF says. I do believe that it's asking for a urban curb, gutter general, okay? Once again, you're probably not gonna have anything else but that in most of your New Zealand design,
Click at the very.
but bear in mind that curbs can also be swales or, especially in a place like Christchurch, it's really flat. And if it rains really hard, they've got to get rid of that water really quickly, so a big swale is much better than a little paved curve. So let's go for urban curb gutter general, and I've clicked on it, and I've come across here, and if I click on my lane, and I click on the other side, I'm now starting to build up my road. Pretty cool, eh? So you're building up your profile. There's not much that gets me excited anymore, Unitech, but
Click on the.
this
line.
doesn't either.
Click on the line to go back to your grid.
Okay.
Click on the grid
What's
line.
that?
Zoom in. There's a grey line. Click on one of them.
Oh, going
Not
home.
the circle, bro. The line. This line.
Coming to work is the opposite effect.
This line. Yes. Now I can show you what to do the instructions.
Hey, I got my letter for 20 years service today from the big boss. Not sure if I could reply to him or not. He,
Telling you what to do.
I was thinking of a wave, but just with one finger.
Go to,
Probably wouldn't go down too well. Okay,
go to profile. Go to profile.
you have to. Yeah.
Profile creation.
I'm wondering if I can get some time off for good behaviour.
Oh, it's not that. It's the other one. Profile surface profile.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the bad
Surface
place
profile.
always. Okay, have we got a footpath? What do they call that? It's bound to be sidewalk, of course. Sidewalk. Yeah, sidewalk. That's what Donald Trump does all the time. He does a sidewalk. Here we go.
I am the New Zealand Trump.
Urban sidewalk. Yeah. I can't find it. Where's it gone to? Foot? Up?
It's in curves. In the curves.
It's in curbs, is it?
Yeah. Right, just to the right of your mouse there.
Is it an American accent? Just to the right of my mouse.
Oh.
I'll get it.
Yeah, up top, up
Okay.
at the bottom, at the.
Sidewalk,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
got it. Urban sidewalk. Okay, which one? We'll do that one. And if I click on the end of this one, I should get a result. Yep, there we are. Now, that's the default. You might like to stretch that. You will have to do it for the assignment. So remember, it's the same way. Click once, come over here to properties,
I'm sorry.
and
us not
you see, it's got a width and a height.
pushing.
Now, if I don't give you a depth, leave it at 0.1. If I do give it a slope, then change it. But if it doesn't change, put a width in there. 1.5 is about standard for two people to go past, or a man and a dog, or a bike, or something like that. And then what we often do now is put a bit of grass. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight to daylighting. Daylighting means where the batter slope goes up and hits the existing ground, or goes down and hits the existing ground. So in this case, when you tell it that, it'll actually do one or the other further on down the line. So batters, and I'll choose a 1-to-1 daylight, 1-to-1. You'll have a different one in your assignment, so you can adjust these also by going to properties. I'm going to click on there. I'm going to click on there. So that's what we call the assembly. All right.
This is just just understand.
So the assembly we called assembly 1, I think. I might have called it assembly 1000. The reason is that I like to know that which one it is when I bring it in to my drawing. So we're up to page
Select profile. We need to go properties.
the last page. So we've done that. Create assembly tool, select marker point within assembly or insert, replace, detach. Okay, we've done that. We're going to go enter, which will take us back to the command line, and it'll put the assembly in there. So I'm going to now do a save as, because I don't really want to build that again. And we'll do it 7. So the process of creating a corridor is basically we take the assembly and we apply it to the centre line of the road, and it'll make the corridor all the way from the start of our road we did right down to the end in plan view. So we need to go through that process, and to do that we obviously need to, on the notes, we need to do click on corridor, and we get a create corridor box. Corridor, then create corridor. So I'm going to just return this, if I can, to where it came from, over here. Don't quite know how to stop that to give me some more space. I'll take the tools away, don't need it, it's all right. Okay, so we have this, and we have a plan view. So a lot of this, when you produce, for me, the AutoCAD drawings, a lot of it, if you do it properly, a lot of it's already been done. You may find you have to reduce the text heights here, and you may find a lot of things like chainage on top of chainage. So they're not perfect. And one of my frustrations in the real world was the fact that the big bosses thought because you did the design in Civil 3D and changed it, that everything would just go wham and all the plans are ready to go out. But they weren't. There was a good lot of CAD work left to do. And I want you to realise that and to see what's involved, because one day you'll be the person that has to say, oh, I need 20 hours to finish those drawings, or 10 hours. You don't want to be the mug like me that says, oh, we'll get them out the door tomorrow, and end up having to stay back till midnight fixing all these little wee things on the CAD drawings. Very annoying. It's even worse with 12D, because you have to import it, and when it comes in, it's a bit weird. So the good thing about this is it's all in CAD at the moment. Now I do believe that once you get into a company, there are ways and standards that you can stop these things from happening, so that a lot of the stuff doesn't have to be done in AutoCAD. But you can also do it with AutoCAD tools in Civil 3D, but it's still the same AutoCAD editing. Okay, corridors. The process of creating corridors to taking an assembly, running along the horizontal and vertical alignments. under home, then go to corridor. So let's go to home, let's go over to corridor, where's that hiding? Here it is. Click on that and go corridor, and we get this here, this box. And we need to, you see here, the alignment, the profile, and the assembly, there's nothing there. We click on that. There's still nothing there. What's happened? I'll go back again. We'll have to give the corridor a name. Corridor 1000, so we know it's to do with this drawing. I'm not quite sure which one it's, oh, we've got to click on the actual assembly, do we?
When you click on none, it gives you two options. There's like you can go to proposed road. You know how you go on that none thing?
Yep. Okay, so sorry, we'll go back to that.
So if you click on that,
If we click on none,
yeah. No, not that.
not that none,
Just the text.
just the text itself.
Yeah,
We go to proposed road,
yeah.
and it goes proposed road 1 for the profile, and assembly, we should have had an assembly, should we? Assembly 1000. And that should be, the profile should be Rogers surface. Okay, so when we click on the names, we have proposed road 1 as an alignment. Rogers surface came up as an option for the profile. Also, proposed road 1 did too, but the profile is the surface itself, and the assembly is assembly 1000. Okay, I've called this corridor 1000. We're now combining all of them, and we're going to go okay to that. And we click on the bottom one, go apply, rebuild, and okay. And if you come back over here, you'll see that now the corridor has been put in place. Now, what you may have to do when you come across to tool space is you may have to rebuild some of this, like the proposed road. But the main problem at the moment is that we've got these triangles here. And I told you that further down the line we'll get rid of them. So I'm going to click on there, right click, and go alignment properties. And come right along the end to the design criteria. And I'm going to start unticking some of these things. So use criteria-based design, untick that, go apply, and okay, and you'll notice that we now have got rid of our triangles. Can you do it again? No. Yeah, of course I can. Alignment properties, it's actually in the box there. And these were all ticked under design criteria. I unticked the top one, went apply and okay, and it got rid of my triangle. So what I'm basically saying is I don't want a check on this. I know that it doesn't conform to the 30 kilometres an hour, but it still works.
This is just practice. You have to understand that. Oh, I know. Thanks. So
Now,
quickly someone can fail. Damn.
I'm wondering whether the figment of my imagination should be brought to the front or not. Dave, I'm going to go, when I did the profile, can you see that? I'll zoom in on it. Oh, can't you? So what we've got here is we have the lane, the gutter, the footpath and the daylighting on both sides.
Yeah.
But I thought that the ground profile went like that.
Yeah, you've got to create a surface and all that sort of thing. Corridor surface.
I don't think that was even, is that next week?
Maybe.
Yep.
Thanks for
The middle
sharing.
lane.
I think I know which one to use from now on.
Or have we missed it?
Which step are you up to? Yeah.
Well, I've just done the notes from last.
Did you get this? What's the step?
Or
before?
did you do
go to
corridor
the
surface?
Did you get this? And so,
That's week
oh,
3, isn't it?
so it should show up in, Go to, it have to show up. Hold up. Yeah, let me show you. No, you didn't do the step properly. Where's the instruction here? See, go to create assembly again. It's right here, you smart guy. Go to create assembly 1. It doesn't delete the file if you click on it over there. Where's assembly? Yeah, click on it, create assembly. Call it assembly 1.
So I think what we've done is back here. Can I edit the corridor?
What do you want to do? Now specify there. Oh no, you deleted my receipt. Okay, now you need to go to step. I don't want to miss it. So go to this. Okay, so you need to go on, click on it, and you need to go to assembly. Click on the green line. Just click on it, yeah. Go to assembly, properties, yeah. Assembly properties right there. Not those properties.
There, it is
Assembly
there.
properties. Click there.
So you see over here, it does say corridor surface,
Yeah.
page 70.
No. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, you go to the proper properties. So click on that again and go on the proper properties. Now, good, extend that. So you can see the properties. Give it to me.
Very easy to get one. Turn the corridor on the surface.
So the surface is being done, so I can go back to that. Corridor.
Yeah. Only
From here. Proposed road.
you're on the go to the right. Go to the right. No, you don't have to hit the it's too late now. Go back on properties. Yeah, that's fine. You just need to go to the next
It's
step.
a trouble, when you label things, it should be labeling.
No, that's it. It's perfect. Just go to the next step. Yeah. Go to the next step. You need to bring that. So yeah.
This is why I call it existing ground, you know what's wrong.
Okay, so, see how I've got a profile, I named my profile then proposed road, road 1, which is the same as my alignment.
Yeah.
So what I've shown you purposely, not really purposely, accidentally, is what not to do.
Yeah. I would call this alignment, you know, when I'm labelling this, I'd call it alignment road 1.
Alignment road 1 and profile
road
1.
And then assembly road 1 or.
We did the assembly okay.
Yeah.
We got the Rogers surface for the surface, but that's okay to call that proposed road, or that one, but it's better if you call them alignment 1 and profile 1. So remember that for your assignment. Doesn't matter now. We're going through and ironing out a few problems. But I'm just saying, otherwise, if you want to call them both the same name like I did, it creates a little bit of an issue when it comes to this last bit. So I'm just going to, and the other thing was, the target surface is going to be whatever you've called your ground profile. So ground profile, alignment, profile, and assembly. So it's really important that you've called these things a slightly different name so you can get back into them and call them the right name here. So I'm going to go okay to that and apply and rebuild the corridor and okay. It's still done it across state, but the next thing is corridor surface,
There's one of no.
page, well basically page 18. I'm going to do a save here. Oh, sorry, I'm going to take the triangles off by clicking on here and going right click, alignment properties. I'm going back over this by the way. Design criteria, click on there and go apply and okay, and I've got rid of my triangles.
Go down a bit. Go down a bit.
Now, if I go to page
Go.
17,
Should tell you something there. Yeah, there should be a stick over there.
okay, so that's your triangles there. Now, what we've got here is, first up, you can see on this one here that this example, the road profile, it was okay to start there, but on this side, it's gone outside of my boundary line. So I'm going to have to drag that back by clicking on on each line and pulling them back in to where they're supposed to be. And you can see there the finished result is they end up inside the boundary, and that becomes an adjustment that isn't required anymore. Then once you do that, you've got to rebuild everything by right-clicking on them here and rebuilding them. There is an auto-rebuild function, but that can be quite dangerous at times. So it's best to right-click on and go rebuild once you make any adjustments to your alignment or corridors or assemblies, etc. Corridor surface. Turn the corridor into a surface by clicking on the corridor in plan view and right-clicking on corridor surfaces. So let's try that. Clicking on the corridor in plan view, right-click, is it properties? What does it say?
Corridor surface.
Corridor properties. Oh, corridor surfaces, sorry. And you've got your surfaces and you've got your boundaries. So we've got two boxes tagged there, create the service, then add the data. So create the surface, we go to this box here. And we have a corridor will come up once you do it. And create extents. So we right click on that. No, we don't. We have to add the data, cancel. No, it's not doing it. Create the service, then add the data, go to the boundaries tab and select corridor extents as the outer boundary. Okay, we've got to add the data there by clicking on the add, and then we go into boundaries and go corridor extents as outer boundary. And then we go apply and OK. Rebuild the corridor and OK. That didn't work, Dave. Was that supposed to end up with that? Okay.
You're going to go into Prospector Corridor Services.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yep. Prospector Corridor Surfaces up towards the top. Okay, the long place. You bring the chair down to the desk there.
Oh yeah, down to your level.
I'm not that short. I am. Surfaces. Initial corridor surface there. Right click.
It's in England.
Surface properties.
England.
It's no display, so you need to turn it on to say
So I've done all that's needed to be done, but the problem is we can't see anything on there. So in order to see the corridor surfaces, we need to come down here to find our corridor, right click and go surface properties, and where it says ANZ no display, we need to down arrow and choose something like, for example, 0.1, no,
0.1.
0.1,
More obviously.
and go apply and OK. Now, what you'll see here is something that's,
Make life easier. Turn off your.
yeah, so that will be under the surface. So what we've got here is we've got triangles coming in. See those triangles?
Perfect road design.
Perfect road design is like the ridge of a mountain with the contour triangles coming in
To the centre.
to the centre of
Peak of the road.
the
you know.
peak of the road.
Yeah, when the road's.
Now to see that a little bit more clearly, I'm going to turn off my road surface. So I'll go in here and right click on there and
Properties.
go surface properties and
No display.
no display, which is up the top, and go apply and OK. And you can see now very clearly the road design. So it sort of looks like this as it's going down the hill and
down the hill.
up and down the hill.
So one side, the V goes down the slope?
The V is going down
The slope.
the slope, yeah, but if you look further up, it must be rather flat up there because there's a part here where the
Yeah, it
V's
should be a
not
part
on.
where there's not many contours.
Now those contours do join on with the others, but unfortunately, underneath, you've still got your ground surface.
So we fix that later on, when we merge into one big surface.
Yeah, and we're doing that next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a hint, Roger?
No, yes, we're doing that next week, because this week, all we're gonna do now is we're gonna click on here and right click and go Object Viewer. And we're gonna bring this up. And we're gonna see our design in 3D.
Yes, the last step.
What is assembly line? He said linking the assembly line.
So, what we did there that isn't in the notes, I'll just go over that
On the
again.
right, left,
You have to take your own notes on that.
click on the left line and the right.
We turned off the surface and we turned on the design surface of the road.
You need to click on.
So, a lot of you are looking a little bit confused as to what we did. I clicked on the design surface over here under the tool space. The design surface is Roger's surface. I went to properties, and where it says no display, it was on point 1 from last week. I can apply and go okay, and it comes back. And what it defaults to, unfortunately, on our design surface, which is the corridor, if I go surface properties, I can turn that off again if we need to. No display, apply and okay. And you'll see that's what we came up with. I don't mind for this week if you leave it like that, but in the assignment, you're gonna need to put the design contours on top of this.
Oh, Jane.
So, to do that, you're gonna have to click on here, right click. Those lines across the road are chainages. 10 meters, 20 meters, whatever. Properties, here. And put that on to point 1. Apply and OK. And Roger's surface properties, change that to no display and OK. Apply and OK. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the surface. So we're going to click on it once, right click and go Object Viewer. And just move it a bit, and you should be able to see your surface. Make sure that's conceptual up the top, and
You need to go on curve. It tells you, look, you're not reading the description. What do you mean? Why did you cross it out? Go to profile creation, or circle, profile, I don't know which one it is. Object. No one is confused on that last. The last step.
now this can also work for platforms or any surface you like. It could be a slope surface for a ski area, for a ski mountain. We did my company was involved in that ski project on the North Shore where you can go and have a ski. They needed a certain slope on that, and we did the design on that on Civil 3D. You can also use this for country roads, dirt roads, gravel roads.
I got up to this point. I got
And-
lost. Is that right? And is it 6.1.
Yeah, that's fine.
excuse me, motorways.
I already applied it.
Okay,
I want to do it.
that's okay.
We're gonna stop at that point
But what did you do?
tonight, which gives you an opportunity to carry on if you
For
want
what?
to,
Like you
or to
did
go
not
back
see-
through something you
If you
didn't
wanna
quite
get to that.
understand.
Yeah,
Right click.
yeah.
Or
The
or
assignment is gonna be on a different,
Is that what you want?
surface base,
No, not that.
and what we're gonna do
Yeah, I mean,
is,
like, after he
we're going
did
to,
it, after he came here and he went on surface property,
give you the
he chose
parameters.
0.1.
So I'm gonna
He
give
pressed
you
apply, then okay, and then
what
I
you
don't know
should and
what he
shouldn't
did
do
after
with
that.
your road design.
Oh,
I'm
not
gonna,
sure. I didn't see the.
uh,
Mm,
give
I didn't see
you
what
the
he did.
parameters for your assembly,
I was talking to someone.
and we'll
so,
work our way
I'm actually not sure. I hear
through
you.
that
Rebuild your
um,
things. Whenever you see
over the
that,
last
always
2 or
rebuild.
3 weeks.
rebuild.
In week 4, I'm gonna go over the
Okay.
things required for your AutoCAD drawing. Is there anything you'd like me to go over again?
The corridor part.
Yeah, we didn't get the triangle.
You know how you did the corridor part?
Right,
Surface properties, and then you chose 0.1. I don't know what happened now.
did you
You chose 0.1, and then I don't know what you did after that.
don't know what I did after that?
I'm trying to catch up.
Could be a secret.
I'm a bit scared.
So over here,
Yeah.
I found Roger's surface, which is this one, you know, the whole surface.
Yeah.
And I turned it off. So I went surface properties, I went no display,
Oh yeah.
and you've got 0.1 down here. So if I put 0.1 on again, you've always got to go apply and okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a wedding, you know, you've always got to say I do. Are you married?
Nah.
Oh, well, you said I don't. Well done. Okay. Okay, so you've got the I do, and we'll go and click on the surface. If I turn the surface off, so let's go to corridor. This is the design corridor. Turn that off. Surface properties, and we'll go no display, and go apply and OK. What those lines are there are chainages. They're also tangent points, all those things that it showed on the long section. Tangent points, chainages, and IP points. So they're all kind of all the way down there, plus it does chainages every 20 meters, I think, or something like that. All right, you can turn them off too, but at the moment we're leaving them on. So if I just turn on the corridor, if I just turn on the surface properties and go 0.1,
Yeah.
apply and OK, you should get these little triangles here. See them? Are you getting them?
Nah, I must have
I
done
think we
something.
missed something before this one.
You missed something, okay? So, I think what you missed was when we went back on the notes and we went, now, under here,
Yeah, I guess you.
now you'll see that in the example, I called my profile road design 1 and my road assembly 1 and my alignment proposed road 1. So I used different names and I remembered them, I wrote them on the paper. So you need those, most of you would have called your alignment something, profile, hopefully profile something, and assembly, hopefully assembly something. What you could have missed is this, down here. When you put that in, then a box appears and you can put this in. And if you tag down on that, you'll get options for Roger 1 or whatever you've called the surface. So if you've got that set up, then you go OK. and then it'll go through to that. You go apply and OK. You should end up initially with that, which is the blue one, the blue lines. And then, as Dave said, the thing that's not here on the notes is you have to turn on and off the corridors to get them. So you can have another crack at that by going back to one of your saves and working your way through. That's why I said do lots of saves. So you can see the importance of labelling everything something that you can remember.
Now you're saying it's a practice, huh? What happened? I have definitely messed up my
I'm stuck in this part. No, just when I went back, I lost this, so I don't know how to bring this back. It's easy step, bro. Just bring that and I can finish everything. So,
Go back to the step that tells you how to bring that back. Still not getting it right. And what did you help me in over when I asked you, remember? When I asked you about the thanks to you, did I pass or fail?
anyway, you pass, so all the whatever. You pass, okay?
Look, it's daylight saving. What are you doing?
So please help me how to bring this back.
That tab bar?
Yeah.
That bar? I think it was... no escape. You come to two Oh, yeah, buddy.
You might have missed the target surface area part. If you look in your thing.
Yeah,
Go back to
let me make it a bit more. That's it. And then you just follow these better scripts, what did you do? Is that it, Roger?